Hello, friends. Welcome to TriBecca Designs. My name is Rebecca, and I love to sew. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Friday Sews. It's Friday, and it's also Mother's Day weekend, so I would like to wish all of you moms out there a wonderful, joyous Mother's Day. And even if you're not a mom, happy Mother's Day to you, my love. We all have a mom. Even if she is no longer with us in body, she's still with us in spirit. So today on Friday Sews, I like to start out talking a little bit about life. I'll just get right into it and then be completely transparent with you guys and tell you that I come to you today with a heavy heart. um, my heart is heavy for a couple reasons. And one is because I miss my mom. She is in heaven now. And I don't have any children of my own. And sometimes when Mother's Day rolls around, you know, every now and then you just kind of feel a little want want. But when I do feel that way, I like to reflect on one of my many favorite passages of scripture. This one I'd like to share with you from Isaiah 54, chapter 1. It says, "Sing, barren woman, you who never bore a child, burst into song, shout for joy. You who were never in labor, because more are the children of the desolate woman than of her who has a husband." Now, I've got to admit, you guys, the latter part of that verse perplexes me quite a bit. I have done some study and have read that it is prophetic, talking about Israel. It's just something that you would have to kind of study and get some in-depth teaching on. I won't get into all of that, but what I do take comfort in is in the fact that it says, "Sing, even though you barren, shout for joy." And I'm like, what? I should be crying. I should be sad. But it's like God is acknowledging the heart, that He understands um, the emotion that comes from maybe wanting to be a mom and not having had um, that come into fruition in your life. So if I can encourage anyone else out there, sometimes, others don't have the best relationship with their mom, and Mother's Day can be a very maybe reflective and not such a joyous occasion for others. So I'm not trying to be sad and down in the doldrums today, but we are sharing a little bit about life on this channel. So I just wanted to encourage you this Mother's Day weekend, if for whatever reason you find yourself feeling a little want, that you can take courage and you can be happy and you can rejoice anyway. Make the decision to do so, and then find something to do to make yourself feel good. Reflect on something that makes yourself feel good, and enjoy the day. Okay, now another reason why I was feeling a little deflated today. I'm okay now, but for those of you who have been, watching my videos for any length of time, you may remember that initially the name of my channel was Sewing Growing. Initially, I wanted to focus on my two passions of gardening and sewing on this channel, but I realized that's not the best idea for a new YouTube startup channel, because the algorithm was having trouble figuring out which category to place my videos in, and consequently I have had kind of like a slow start to my channel because it just couldn't figure it out. Do we do sewing videos? Do we do gardening videos? So that's why I dropped the SOW part. But I do still garden, and I finished planning out my garden last week, and everything was beautiful and growing quite lusciously. I was getting close to being ready to pick some kale to have me a nice organic kale salad. I had 4 varieties of kale. And when I went to the garden this morning, some animal had burrowed a hole underneath an area in the little fencing that I have up and gnawed down all of my kale. I mean, down to nothing. And I was just deflated. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like, oh, I did all this work. I spent all this time, all this energy to feed a rodent. Really? So, yeah. If you are aspiring to start a garden, gardening is a lot of hard work. And sometimes things don't go as planned. Same as with our sewing projects, right? That's life. We move on. Um, so yeah, with that being said, once those vegetables regrow and regenerate new life, I will share with you all the progress of the garden still on this channel. I won't do full garden videos. I will just kind of insert progress, my garden's progress in some of my sewing videos. That's what we'll do. Okay, on to the makes. So last week I shared with you all my selfless sew makes. I talked about this pattern that I utilize. It's Vintage Vogue 7094 from 1999 that I use very often to make my husband's shirts off of. So on this episode, I'm going to be talking about shirt dresses. I have also used this very same pattern to make dresses for myself. And how that happened was I have several shirt dresses, actual shirt dress patterns, I should say. But one time, here's the first dress I'm going to share with you guys. Now, before I give you the details of this fabric I purchased, it's 100% cotton at Joann's a few years back to make my husband a shirt. And after I cut it out, he decided he didn't like the fabric. He wanted a rayon blend, something that flows like the Nile, which this does not, okay? And so I'm like, I done already started on this shirt. And it just occurred to me, honey, just go ahead and make something for yourself. So this was born. I love the piping detail that I incorporated in this. And it's just a button down. I just lengthened it a little bit. I added a casing in the waist so that it is drawn in. And then I purchased, both of these pockets are, there's a name for this, and I, forgive me, have forgotten. I had looked this up once before. This is a certain type of quilting technique that I think they do in Morocco, if I remember correctly. It's like an African hand quilting technique. I can't remember the name of it, but it was one complete piece, which I cut in half and made 2 pockets to showcase on the front of this dress, and I think it turned out absolutely lovely. This is the back, this is the yoke, which I use the piping on the yoke, and then the rest is just plain on the bottom. But is there anything else? I will throw up a quick little model of me in this. that's one shirt dress. And this is the second one. Now, this one I liked I modified the collar to make it round, to make it, I guess, in my mind, a little bit more feminine. And I liked it so much, I made another one. But this one, that one I just showed you was a UFO, something I started on years ago that I had tucked away and just recently brought out and completed. Okay, this one I completely made from start to finish. About this time last year, I did a video on my channel called Styling My Purple Megs or Clothed in Purple, something like that, where I featured several garments that I made all in various shades of purple. All kinds of garments. If you are interested in seeing that video, I will provide the link in the description for that one. I think it's a great video where I'm just kind of showcasing things that I've made. Purple coats, purple pants, purple dresses, everything purple. So, but this was featured in that video. I had just finished it. And I don't know why I put that. I don't like that tag. I think it's ugly. I had purchased these from, I think, Hobby Lobby, those tags. And I put one in here. Ugh. I'm going to take that out and put a real nice tag with my label in it that I have on order. That will be here soon. But this one, I did a little something different just by bringing some elastic here to make it a little puff sleevey. And then I just cut out some interesting shapes and sewed them randomly on the front. Now this one is a lot shorter than the other and it has more of a boxy look. I didn't draw the waist in, so it can be worn as a shirt or a skirt. I will throw up a few videos of me wearing this from last year's video. But yeah, I really am happy about the piping detailing. So you can use men's shirt patterns, of course, to make things for yourself if you're a lady, and you know, just use your imagination. Hey friends, I totally forgot to mention this shoe that I am wearing with both of those dresses, the light blue wrap one and the purple and blue one. This is a really attractive heel that I purchased on Amazon, and it does come in multiple colors. It's not too long. I think that heel is actually only about 2.5, maybe 3 inches, and it's wider at the bottom, so it's really comfortable. So you might want to check them out. There's a link in the description. Like I said, they do come in various colors. I also have them in brown. And if you do decide to make a purchase, I will receive a small commission from Amazon. Thank you. So the last shirt that I would like to share with you all, Princess is wearing over here, and let's go take a look. Okay, this is a wrap dress. This one was actually an upcycle. I do have a full tutorial on my channel as to how I accomplished this look from one of my husband's shirts that he had in the pile to donate to Goodwill. And this was just like one of his vacation shirts, a typical men's shirt. They had a collar and short sleeves. And I completely changed the neckline. I added some different fabric to create this belt. And it ties from back to front. And I will throw up a little video of me modeling this. But if you're interested in checking out the tutorial on how I created this look, the full tutorial link is in the description box for that video as well. So that's all I have for you all in terms of my makes. But I do have one more thing about life I would like to share, and this is a joyous situation. So I was initially inspired to start gardening from Papa Daddy. Papa Daddy is my great grandfather on my mother's side, my mother's dad's dad. Okay. And Papa Daddy was so much joy. I don't know why we started calling him Papa Daddy. I just know that that's how we referred to him, as Papa Daddy. And he had quite the personality. He had a very deep voice, and he always had a pipe in his mouth. He had gray hair that was almost white, and he always dressed really, really sharp. Papa Daddy always had on a nice dress shirt, usually just a white one where you could see the tank top underneath, and a pair of slacks with a belt and some dress shoes that were always shine, like spit shine, okay? And we used to think Papa Daddy was rich because Papa Daddy always had this wad of 20s, and he would just break us off every time he would come around. Now, he lived in Omaha, Nebraska, a different state than where we resided as children. But whenever he would come visit, he would just break out this wad and be like, Papa got you, baby. Papa got you. You know, he would just give us multiple 20s. So it wasn't until I was 14 years old that I realized Papa Daddy wasn't rich. I went to go visit Papa Daddy one summer. He lived on Pinckney Street in Omaha, Nebraska. And I took a Greyhound bus. Just me. Let me backtrack a little bit. Now, I am the oldest of all of my grandmother's grandchildren. And Papa Daddy would always ask us to write him when he would leave. He would say, Papa's going back home. Be sure and write me. Well, I took it serious. I was like, oh, I'm going to write Papa. You know, I love Papa. So I would write me and Papa. We were pen pals. So one summer he was like, tell that baby to come on up here and spend some time with Papa. And I did. I went by myself and spent the summer with Papa Daddy, and it was a glorious summer. I'm going somewhere. Stick with me. So I always sensed that in my mind, I was always a little sensitive. I thought, there was something about Papa that was a little sad. Like he was sad sometimes. And he had a wife. She was not my biological great-grandmother that I met for the first time in person. I had heard a lot about her. We used to call her Mama Benson. And long story short, Mama Benson had gangrene. For those of you who know what that is, it's a condition that comes from diabetes where there's some circulatory issues in the leg that creates necrosis, which is cell death in the leg, starts to basically just rot. And Mama Benson would not get rid of her leg. She did not want to have her leg amputated. Long story short, when I went there that summer, I visited Papa, and I was actually, I think, summoned to help him with Mama Benson. And it was during the year before, a few months before the election, right? It was an election year. And so there was all kind of stuff on the news about the presidential election. Well, Papa, we were all watching TV, and Papa was like, I'm retiring. I'm going to bed now. And he walked outside. And I looked at Mama Benson kind of like, huh? Where is he going? I got a little nervous. I thought, oh no. I was old enough to think, Papa's having an affair. He's leaving to go with a woman. He's leaving Mama Benson because of that leg. Me and my childish thinking, right? And she just kind of laughed. And she said, baby, Papa sleeps on the porch. Well, the front porch was completely screened in. It was this huge old school front porch, and it was completely screened in. And Papa had a cot on the front porch. And so after he had been out there a while, I went outside and peeked, and much to my relief, Papa was on the cot with his pipe in his mouth, about to doze off. So I was like, I want to sleep on the porch with Papa Daddy. And she was like, no, Papa needs his time alone. And so I was like, okay, I can respect that. So the next morning, I couldn't wait to go out on the porch with Papa Daddy. After helping Mama Benson with breakfast, I jetted out on that front porch. Where's Papa? Papa wasn't on his cot. And I was just like, he left. He left without me. So I went to the edge of the porch. And what did I see? But Papa Daddy bent over with his pipe in his hand and a pair of overalls and a white dress shirt with a fedora hat that looked too clean for the garden, picking what I didn't realize at the time was collard greens. And I was so relieved to see Papa. And it was almost like after I saw and realized what he was doing, because I didn't know Papa Daddy had a garden on the side of his house. I looked and noticed this luscious garden filled with all kinds of food. And it was like my heart just did like this and opened up. A seed was planted, and then my heart closed back in and went back inside of my chest. And I remember thinking, thank you, Papa, for planting that seed. And I was just a girl, a young teenage girl that summer, and I had no desire to get out there and help Papa on that hot summer morning. But that seed stuck with me. And it wasn't until I became a young woman in my early 20s that that seed germinated and took root to the point where I got my hands in the dirt and started my own garden for the first time. But I remember that Papa Daddy, it was Papa Daddy who planted that seed in me. So to backtrack earlier when I said that I was feeling deflated because a rodent or whatever had gotten in my garden and eaten up all my kale, I thought about Papa Daddy. And I said, Papa wouldn't let that defeat him. He'd be like, pfft, and he'd go on about his business, honey. We used to, me and Papa Daddy that summer. I know I'm being long-winded today. Thank you if you guys are still with me. And comment, let me know who has inspired you to do the things that you enjoy, whether that's sewing, growing, crochet, writing, whatever. I would love if you would share that with me, who it is that inspired you. But anyway, I was just going to say, me and Papa Daddy, I would go with him. This is what he loved to do. He would grow all these vegetables and give most of it away. We would walk all the way up and down Pinckney Street that summer and deliver baskets of produce from Papa's garden to his neighbors. His neighbors loved him. And I just loved him too. I would just kind of look at him and smile. And yeah, I also like to share my produce with my friends and family. But Papa's in heaven now, and I just wanted to share a little bit of Papa Daddy with you all and say thank you for being part of my garden, my sewing garden. Peace and blessings. I'm out.